What's happening, guys? I hope you guys are ready to make some noise because I know I am. I have this brand new Scorpion full stainless steel exhaust system and downpipe setup that's going to be going on my Mini Cooper today. So I ceramic coated the downpipe. The downpipe is ready to go. I used this VHT flame-proof paint to get that done. Here she is. It's looking good, and now it's time to install all this stuff. So as you guys have seen from the previous videos, the entire exhaust is out. You guys know what that looked like. I fixed a leak, I fixed my turbo problem, and I should, in theory, be able to make the boost that I, well, should be expecting. So I'm looking for 23 pounds of boost. With this setup, I should be seeing flames out the back. And this thing should be a hell of a fun time. So I'm gonna stop talking and we're just gonna jump right into the install. So first things first, we're gonna get started with the catalytic converter slash decat downpipe first. So this downpipe here is made from the company called Scorpion. Now this company is based out of the UK and this is an entirely handmade exhaust system. It's hand built, hand welded, hand everything. So we're gonna be starting off right here. So this here's the flange that mates up to the turbocharger. There's a little spot that I ground down here for the wastegate actuator. The O2 sensor bung is found up top, and this here is all 2.5-inch piping. Now this little bend right here has to be that size so that it can bolt onto the factory size turbocharger or a slightly bigger one without any kind of problems. After this little bend right here, the entire exhaust system opens up to 2 3/4 inches. So that means from this part here all the way to the exhaust tip, it is entirely 2.75 inches. So it has the factory bracing down here too, so you can bolt it up to the block. To bolt it up, you're gonna need either your old clamp or a new one. So this V-band clamp right here, I got from BMW. You guys can find a link in the description box if you guys want to buy a new one, just to make sure that you don't have any leaks. Now another thing is the secondary O2 sensor bung is going to be found down here. So we're going to have to transfer over the O2 sensors, both the primary and the secondary, onto the downpipe. That is going to be the most complicated part of this install. Now that on its own is not difficult, but we're going to get started with that so that we can install and put together the entire catback. So moving towards the engine bay, there isn't going to be enough space to feed the downpipe from up above. So we're going to have to go underneath the car and we're going to have to bring the downpipe up so it can mate itself up to the turbocharger that's found up here. Now I have all the old exhaust system removed along with any heat shielding. So if you guys still have those pieces there in the way, you're going to have to remove them to get this job done. With it up here now in the engine bay, be sure to install the 1, 2, and then 3 nuts and studs to secure the downpipe up to the turbocharger. Now, if you guys can, install a new gasket in between here just to ensure a proper seal. With the downpipe bolted up top, before you move on to continuing down onto the lower parts of the exhaust system, you want to ensure that everything else in the engine bay will work properly. So because I have my wastegate actuator and rod found right by the downpipe, you want to test the fitment and you want to make sure it all works as it should. So it should be able to move in and out freely. So the next piece of the exhaust moving down the line after the downpipe is going to be this piece here. So this connects at the front up to the front of the downpipe with a V-band clamp. So you can retain the exact same OEM clamp or buy a new one. Now if you guys are looking at installing this catback, you can use your OEM downpipe. Now you can also go the other way around. You can use your OEM catback if you want to use their aftermarket downpipe. Now with that being said, I'm going to take this wrapping off, install my polyurethane hangers that go on here and here, and then just keep in mind of the orientation for this. So for every next piece, you're going to want to have the flanged, enlarged area facing front. You'll see what I mean when I take these off. So this entire exhaust system works off of the same principle with this. So this here is an exhaust clamp. You would slide this over top of the exhaust. This goes over top of this, and then you bring this and clamp this on top of that. Now that's going to basically make it so that you have a seal. What I'm going to be doing is sliding this part here up to the front of the car, install my new V-band clamp, and then I'm going to start working my way backwards. Now, before you go ahead and tighten up the V-band clamp for this part here, you want to have everything just hand tight. Once everything all fits as you want, so what I mean by that is everything for the rest of the catback, once you have that how you'd like, you would then go ahead and tighten up each one of the clamps here, and the same kind of clamp here for the V-band. So I'm going to bring this and install this after the downpipe. So moving underneath here, we're going to have the mounts. So like the little hangers, they're going to be on the bottom side. And we're going to mount those first on the back part of the subframe. Slide this all forward. And it's going to pretty much align us right where we need to be for the V-band clamp up front. Now, can you see what I mean? How do not tighten this fully until it's properly in there. So you don't want the entire exhaust system to be kind of crooked. So that's why I'm just gonna be doing it lightly, tightening this all by hand, and then we're gonna go ahead and tighten this all up after the entire catback is installed. Next up comes installing the non-resonated next pipe, which is essentially the mid pipe of the exhaust system. Now, before we go ahead and install this, be sure to install one of the clamps onto the pipes that's found after that primary pipe that we installed after the downpipe. So don't forget the clamp, then the pipe. So this here is the end that has like the little slits on. Cool. So this here is gonna go in the front. And then the clamp that we just slid on over top on the front is gonna slide over top of that. Like that. So with this now on, we can move back to the next piece. Another clamp, and then another pipe. This little hump is facing down. Now you wanna slide this on as much as possible, and then with it like that, we can tighten this up and snug it in place. All right, so next up comes the muffler section. So we can take this off, we take that off. This here is the outlet, so we can worry about that in a minute. This is the inlet. So this here is the last part that we're clamping for the actual exhaust. This here is where the tips mount up. So I don't have a knife, but I will see if I can take this out. Mini Cooper S silencer, handmade in the UK. Sweet. Now I gotta say, they packed all this stuff up really nicely. Nothing was scratched, nothing was scuffed, nothing was dented. I gotta say, it's pretty high quality exhaust stuff right here. Oh yeah, oh that's nice. Ooh, oh, oh baby. That's clean. Oh, I like that. So this is laser etched, or whatever you guys want to call it, with the company logo on the muffler. Pretty sweet, eh? So this is inlet. Welds all look nice. Take a look at the casing weld right there, right across the middle. Nice. Yeah, so what we're gonna do for this one is we're gonna install the hangers that are up here. We're gonna install the hangers first, and then we're gonna go ahead and worry about clamping this down. I forgot how much of a pain in the these polyurethane mounts are to put on. They're not gonna move anywhere once they're on, but damn. Oh my gosh. And there's two. That was difficult. Okay, next up, slide the clamp over top of here. Tilt it all up, twist it how you want, and then tighten all that stuff up. Next up comes installing the tips. So these here are the Daytona style tips, and these are polished. You can get them in a matte black, which is a ceramic coated finish, and you can also get them in a couple other styles. You guys can find more information on their website regarding the tips. Now, the way that I'm gonna be placing them is gonna be a little bit past the bumper so that I can reduce the amount of like the soot from the exhaust that's coming out of the car. So right now, my whole back of the car is covered in like this like black speckles, which is carbon from the engine. So what I'm gonna do is stick out the tips a little bit past the bumper right here, just so that I will basically reduce the amount of that happening on the back of the car. So on the back side, we also have these different clamps. These are T-bolt clamps. So I'm gonna put one on the one tip and the other on the other tip. And you guys can choose when you guys install these how much in or out you want them. So these work just like the front, where you slide it over top and then you clamp it down. So there's one, and there's two. So I gotta say, that looks pretty damn good just the way it is, but I'm gonna center these and see if I can make these stick out a little bit more. Something along those lines there. So let me show you what these look like. So from the back of the car, this is what you can make the tips look like. So the left here is all the way in, the right here is all the way out. And this here will still make a proper seal against the muffler section that's found down here. So I'm gonna pull out the left one here just so that it matches this, but I do like how the top of it has the Scorpion name right on top of it. So I'm gonna clamp all this stuff up, and then we can go ahead and install the O2 sensors. Now, when installing new O2 sensors into a new exhaust system, or even an old exhaust system for that matter, you want to apply some sort of anti-seize on the threads. That way, this will go in nicely and it will be able to be removed once there's a couple heat cycles into the exhaust system. Now, I'm using Permatex nickel anti-seize because it has a really high temperature that it can withstand. See what I mean? 2,400 degrees. So I don't think the exhaust is gonna be getting that hot. Now I'm gonna be installing this guy here, which is the secondary down on the bottom side of the downpipe, as I have the primary installed up there with the same anti-seize. Okay, so we have the Mini now down on the ground. We have everything torqued up, and we can go ahead and fire this thing up. Oh! That is a lot quieter. At least on startup. Oh, I dig it. All right, guys, so we're in the Mini. Everything's warmed up. Everything is working as it's supposed to. Now, right now, I have it in sport mode, traction control off, and it's making pretty much the same sounds as before, but just everything is a little bit quieter. So it's a little bit, you know, toned down, a little tame, and it's a nice sound. The one thing that I do notice is that, well, because I was switching from a fully straight piped exhaust to this, well, it's a hell of a lot quieter. But it's making every noise just like before, but just more tame, so it's quieter. Now, I'm enjoying it. It's nice so far. And let me just show you what this sounds like, because it sounds pretty good just the way it is. So this right here is with the windows down. You guys can hear what it sounds like. So it's a lot more subtle. It's gonna get me a lot less attention, which is kind of a nice thing, because I did get in trouble before from a cop regarding this exhaust. And this is not even with the car being on the road for that long. So with it now in this setup right here, with the full Scorpion turbo back setup, it's tame, it's nice, but when you put your foot into it, it's got some grunt. So this setup right here, it's a lot more, you know, livable. So if you guys are looking for an exhaust system that you can actually daily, but you can, like, you know, still kind of hear a little bit of the exhaust, this is your setup. So you're gonna get a lot larger piping versus the stock stuff. You can choose if you want a catless or a catted downpipe, and you guys can go with a full turbo back or catback exhaust setup. So if you guys are in the market for an exhaust system, take a look at this company, because it's nice. It's nice to daily drive. So you still get to hear those fun little bangs, but it's not so obnoxious. Don't get me wrong, you can still hear it, but it's just a lot more, you know, turned down. As Jeremy Clarkson would say, my old exhaust was turned up to 11. This here is like, you know, 7, 8-ish. Definitely noticeable. You can still hear it, but you're not gonna be that douchebag that has that exhaust system. It's nice, it's toned, it's mature, it's sick. See, it's not too bad. Yeah, okay, so, Luca, was that fun? No. Oh, yeah, the turbo's probably a little warm right now. But no, that sounds pretty good. I like fire. So guys, basically what we're saying is, if you guys like fire and noises, you know, go boost. Go, well, and this exhaust. Yeah. My other exhaust did not do this. Well, at least not to this extent. Oh boy, I'm gonna get in trouble. Sorry, neighbors. So a week later, after installing this exhaust on my car, what are my thoughts? Well, so far, I'm noticing that, well, it's a lot quieter than my old setup. I can drive it without having to worry about waking literally every human being up in my city. I can not have to worry about cops giving me tickets, and I can still make flames when I want to. So I'd say it's a pretty good setup. If you guys want to find any of these Scorpion parts, you guys can find some more information in the description box. Install was easy. You might have to adjust it after you've given the entire exhaust a heat cycle. Go over it, make sure all the clamps are tight just so that nothing moves. But other than that, once you install it, you're pretty much good to go. Anyways, guys, if you have any further questions, comment section's down there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you later.